The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has launched Momentum Country and Global Leadership in Abuja. The Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, who was a guest at the event, and represented by Sadiya Umar Farouk, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, said gender-based violence is driven by structural inequalities and unequal power relations that render women subordinate to men. He, however, reinstated the commitment of the federal government to zero tolerance to gender-based violence and reaffirmed his commitment towards ensuring care and justice for survivors. He further explained that this was due to limited access to education, employment, finances, healthcare, and opportunities to contribute to their lives, communities, and the nation's economic growth. He noted that such condition affects survivors' family and broader society and the economics of the nations negatively.
Our collective resolve to stamp out this evil from our society is our yardstick for supporting the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs as the sectoral leader on all affairs of Nigerian women under the dynamic leadership of Dame Pauline K. Talen, OFR, KSG, to address this violence menace from the angle of policy, legislation, advocacy, and funding. It is time we rise up to the challenges posed by this menace and constantly speak out against this evil perpetrated by mindless and cruel individuals in our society.
He stressed the need for key access to safety, confidential and professional healthcare, access to life-saving support and other services that provide dignity and comfort, including options for safety and physiosocial support for survivors. While commending USAID for efforts, he also stressed the need to ensure a safer society for women, girls, and valuables in the society. Also speaking, Catherine Fitzgibbon of the U.S. Embassy said the embassy has invested $15 million for the MCGL activity in Sokoto and Ebonyi State to be administered by USAID. Fitzgibbon said that the 5-year project is to increase access to services for survivors and gender-based violence and provide them with relief from domestic and other forms of abuse. She further revealed that part of the money will be used to increase the capacity of Nigerian law enforcement agency, civil service, local communities, and the Ministry of Social and Women Affairs staff on how to respond and assist victims of gender-based violence.
The $15 million investment will strengthen gender-based violence mechanisms, response mechanisms, help communities transform discriminatory gender and social norms, uphold and defend women's health and human rights. It will amplify women's voices and reduce their vulnerability to gender-based violence. Over the next 5 years, USAID will work with the government and institutions to address the primary contributors to maternal mortality and morbidity through the prevention and mitigation and the consequences of violence against women and girls, and the drivers of early and forced child marriage, which according to the United Nations has been on a sharp rise since the onset of COVID-19 in 2020. So I am proud that this is not the only program that the U.S. government has in Nigeria to address gender-based violence. Through the State Department's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, we provide over $1 million to the International Organization for Migration to support strengthening the response mechanisms and accountability of sexual-based and gender-based violence in northeastern Nigeria, particularly in the IDP camps.
Ruth Ugo, 24 News TV.